What's up, stars? It's your girl, Ivory Star, your favorite back alley astrologer, with this week's Ratchet Astrology Report. Okay? I hope you Tauruses didn't think I forgot about y'all, because I didn't. We are putting information I have for Tauruses, and the information I have about the super full pink moon, and I have some information about Mars and Cancer for the male collective. So those are the things we're going to talk about in this video. Taurus, in case you didn't know, it's your season, but guess what? You also have a stellium of planets in your sign right now. And if you do not know what a stellium is, it's when 3 or more planets are in one sign. So we're going to talk about what those planets are. We're going to talk about the energy of this super full pink moon in Scorpio, a water sign, very passionate, very deep. And Mars in Cancer, and what that means for the male collective. If you've been feeling some type of way, you know, like going through different manhood changes and all those type of things. So we gonna get right into the video. So let's see, where we want to start at. Let's start with this information I have about this Taurus stellium that's going on. So the Taurus stellium, all my notes in here, is going to include Venus, Mercury, Uranus, and Black Moon Lilith, aka I like to call her the toxic bitch planet, and the sun, of course, because it's Taurus season. So let's talk about the Taurus stellium and some things that we might be going on, and some things that you can embody during this time, during some energies that you can tap into yourself, even if you're not a Taurus during this time. So experimental art. You might be ready to experiment with different types of art, because you know that Venus is Taurus's home planet. You know, Venus feels at home in Taurus. That's the planet that rules Taurus, and it's also the planet of beauty, love, and art. You know what I'm saying? So you might be feeling like you want to get experimental with art. Maybe your creativity is opening up. You want to try different things. I'm waving this lighter around because we gotta light our candle, of course. And you know, burn a little bit of sage while we doing this, because I ain't smoky and I need all the clean energy and space that I can get right now. So, talking about this Taurus stellium, another thing that you look out for during this time is pop-up relationships, love at first sight. Remember, Venus rules Taurus, so, you know, pop-up relationships, spring flings, they used to call them back in the day. This is really a time where that is real prevalent and going on, love at first sight. Odd encounters, you know, this is always a time, and not just odd encounters, like, you know, sometimes odd encounters mean seeing people that you haven't seen in a while, that you didn't even know still existed, was alive. That's an odd encounter, especially when you've been staying in one place for so long and you just start running into people that you ain't seen in 10, 20 years. Odd encounters also mean, you know, those things where you just, maybe like in the grocery store, somebody start talking to you and telling you their life story, or somebody gives you something out of the blue, or something happens that's in a line with something else that's going on in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like the same thing constantly popping up, or little signs and reminders, those type of odd encounters. An up and down stock market, because Taurus is a grounded sign, and we know earth signs are always related to, you know, things, the material, money. Tauruses love money. They love to save their money. They love to spend their money. They just love money. And an up and down stock market is not, you know, is not uncommon when you have, you know, a full moon going on during an earth signs season. So, you know, like Taurus season, or Capricorn season, or Virgo season, you know what I'm saying? Anytime during the earth signs time during the year in the zodiac, you know what I'm saying? It's not odd to have an up and down stock market, because, you know, the earth signs are all about materialism and stuff like that. People who are normally stable during this time might appear unstable, and people who are normally erratic might just go ahead and settle down, because that's what this energy is promoting. Because not only do we have the Taurus stellium, we also have this super pink full moon, and it is one of only two supermoons this year. So now Taurus, let's talk about some things about Taurus. Taurus is a earth sign. So, you know, earth signs, they are all related to materialism, resources, your work ethic, and, you know, the quality of your work, being grounded, stability, savings, money, always money, and those type of things. But also as Taurus nature is, you know, stubborn. So, you know, if you're normally stubborn when it's time to make changes, this pink super full moon is going to push you past that, because the moon is going to be in Scorpio, and it is ruled by Pluto, and Pluto is what? The planet of transformation, death, rebirth, and, you know, those type of things. Just all things changing, new, especially on the back end. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about, because Venus and her planets, they got that covered, you know, on the front end. Transformation to your beauty regimen and the way that you look and dress and your style and stuff like that. All of that comes with Venus. But Pluto is the back end transformation, the part that no one sees, the part that only becomes visible during your interactions with people. You know, the things that you're working in. Maybe you're working on your attitude. You know, maybe you're working on, you know, how you talk to people. Maybe you're working on, you know, just your boundaries. You know, that falls under that too. Like working on keeping your boundaries, not always saying yes. You know, you might be working. Those are things that we work on internally, that the internal struggle. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about transformation during this full moon. Drinking out of my little skull cup. You know what I'm saying? Scorpios, death, transformation, life skulls can be good or bad luck. I'm drinking my little smoothie out of it right now. So tonight at 11:33, when this full moon kicks in, what is a full moon all about? Illuminating what's hidden, right? A time for change, progress, and fertility. You're a little bit more fertile under the full moon. You have to understand that the moon controls water, waves, flows, and menstrual cycles. You know what I'm saying? So it's super intensified under this moon. And it's a super moon where the moon is about 15% more visible than it is at any other time. So when you see it, it might not appear pink. It's called a pink moon, but it's not going to appear pink to most of us. But it is extremely enlarged and larger than what you would normally see it when you walk outside and look at the moon on any other night. So the pink moon is also a symbol of optimism and generosity, because that's what the color pink is kind of associated with. Things being light and adaptable, generous, love, friendship, kindness, and all those type of things. It's a good time to do rituals that help you connect with nature and manifest dreams and goals. Now, we don't set our intentions under a full moon. We set our intentions under what? A new moon, and then we reap our harvest under the full moon. So when you are under a full moon, you're supposed to be dancing, you're supposed to be laughing, like you just, like, okay, say you want to, you set your intentions to make a certain amount of money by the time the full moon came back. Even if you didn't make that certain amount of money when the full moon came back, guess what? You are still supposed to be outside celebrating in nature, dancing, laughing, drinking, eating, just like you got that, like you hit that goal. You know what I'm saying? That's the process of manifestation. It's not about getting discouraged when we don't meet those goals. It's about still celebrating the fact that, hey, I tried. And you know what? Even though I can't see that goal, I still met that goal. I don't care what the world say that I didn't meet that goal. I don't care what this says that I didn't meet that goal. In my heart, I know that I met that goal, because even if I didn't meet it this time, I'm going to meet it eventually. So listening to music that triggers happy emotions. Today is not a day to listen to, today is not a day or a time for you to be listening to, sad music. Maybe if you got out of a bad relationship and, that was something that might have ended for you under the new moon. Cause we talked about a lot of that, that was a time for you to really cut off a lot of different situations for you to be able to manifest what you wanted to manifest under this full moon. It's the springtime. So you know what I'm saying? Use the power, use the energy of nature, pushing it way back through the green grass, the soft dirt, and all those things that you really need to dig into and get to, the crystals, the rocks, and all those things that you need to go to outside, the water. This is your time in springtime, and it's opening up to you to be able to use the power from nature, because you don't want to keep going internal and drawing power out to do your magic, to do your work, to do your rituals, to give energy and life to other people. You don't want to keep going internal. So springtime is always a good time, because you can always go outside, ground yourself, find things out in nature to connect to and draw energy from, for you to be able to give back out into the universe and give back out into other people. So listening to music that triggers happy emotions is going to generate a vibration, going to generate an energy that is going to, that you're going to release out there with the intention that you set at the new moon, and that you're going to release to receive that harvest. You need to be celebrating like it's already going on. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. We get caught up in life, and we get caught up in things not going our way, and we stop celebrating. We stop having gratitude. You still need to have gratitude and celebrate like everything that you ask for is right in front of your face. Because honestly, it is. You might can't touch it, you might can't see it, you might not have it, but it's still, that doesn't stop it from being there. Speaking with gratitude and pretending like you just had heard the best news ever, and that's what I'm talking about. Playing by your own rules. The moon in Scorpio. A lot of people, we just come into a place, and COVID-19 pretty much drags all of us to hell, right around. And it got a lot of people looking at stuff different. A lot of people are saying like, these employers and shit don't care about you. So if you got a business, go ahead and get ready and start it. These jobs don't give a shit about you. They will replace you as soon as you walk out of the door. They already sifting through applications for somebody else to be their next victim. Okay. Playing by your own rules. Not sticking, being able to set your own routine, set your own guidelines, make your own way, playing by your own rules, because you know what? That's the attribute of Scorpio. Scorpios need all the information. They need all the information before they commit to anything. You cannot get a Scorpio just to walk into any situation blind. Maybe a relationship, but any situation that has to do with business, career, linking up with different groups of people and networking and stuff like that. Scorpios got to have all the information. They got to come to a few meetings first before they commit to anything. Now, with that same energy, it's a just because I can energy. Now, let's be careful with this energy though. If you're not in alignment, the just because I can energy might not be for you, because you might end up in a situation that you don't want to end up in. You shouldn't just be sleeping with somebody just because you can. You know what I'm saying? Don't be stealing just because you can. We're talking about just because I can. If I want to, I work from home. But if I had a job and I wanted to take a personal day because I got time saved off, because I've been being a good and diligent worker, and I got days and shit saved off, and I feel like, this is a good time for me to take a personal day just because I can. That type of energy. Make sure that you're in alignment and you've been doing the work and you've been doing what you're supposed to be doing in your life before you start living a life like just because I can. Everybody shouldn't have that freedom. And everybody doesn't have that freedom, because when you are not in alignment, that freedom, that just because I can freedom that you think you got, it can get snatched right away, because you don't have anything to anchor it to, because you're not in alignment with your own life. So even though we have this just because I can energy rising up, this passionate Scorpio energy rising up with this moon, doesn't mean that we all should embrace it. But you should look at some things that that you can go ahead and take care of just because you can. Some things that you've been holding back from doing that could possibly help you and further you into the future, just because you can. Do it just because you can. But that doesn't mean that you do anything just because you can. Scorpio is a passionate water sign. So this is a good time for water magic. Protection magic. Scorpios are very protective of their loved ones and friends. And money magic. Just because, we got a stellium inside of Taurus. So take advantage of that. Take advantage of the grounding. Take advantage of the stability. Take advantage of the ability to do money magic at this time. Anytime that you have an earth sign is a good time. If you have, you know, a full moon in the earth sign, you know, it's a good time to do money magic and whatnot. And also remember that this is a crossroads time. So this is really drawing everything together. The Taurus stellium and the supermoon in Scorpio, it is a crossroads thing. You have come to a crossroads. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What changes am I going to make? What creative things am I going to embrace? Because Scorpio and Taurus are both very creative signs. So what type of creativity am I going to embrace? Because creativity is what feeds your confidence. It doesn't matter if you got a regular 9-to-5 job. Make sure that you're still carving out time for your creativity, because that's what's going to build your confidence so that you will be able to continue to grow. We don't grow without confidence. We can walk into things feeling not confident or feeling fearful. That's fine. That's normal, because that means that you are getting in touch with something unknown. But you still have to have confidence in yourself to complete whatever task that it is that you are getting ready to try to accomplish. So, knowing what we know about Tauruses, let's talk about the supermoon and how it's going to affect 4 specific signs. It is going to be Scorpio. This is going to be a full awareness shift for you, this super moon in your sign, the super pink moon in your sign. It's going to be a full awareness shift. And what a full awareness shift is, basically you think from, you know, your crown chakra all the way down to the root chakra. Everything is going to come into alignment and shift, and some things are going to be moving around in your life. Now, if you've already been on this path, it could be an easy transition. But if you have not started this awakening yet, Scorpio, then it could be a shaky one at the same time. And some things might get shook up. Your relationships might get shook up. Your finances and stuff get shook up, and all these type of things. But it's going to be a full awareness shift, something that you've been asking for. A transformation that's been going on in the sign of Scorpio for a very long time. So this is a time for all of that to come full circle. Leo, and the reason why these signs are affected is because they're fixed. These are the fixed signs of each element, you know, fire, air, water, and earth. Okay, so Leo is the fixed fire sign. So it's about releasing toxic family ties for Leo during this time, because the focus is the focus is on house 4, which is the house of family and home. Okay, and then the super full moon is encouraging transformation. Okay, so and then you have the Taurus stellium, which is ruled by Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and art. So this is what the energy that's combining and is highlighting some of our family ties and things that we have going on in our family, how we see certain family members falling off, and certain family members coming together, which is something that also happens during this springtime anyway, but it's a very big focus because of, you know, it being in house 4. And, you know, while we are talking about, you know, family ties, I'm gonna come back to the other signs in 1 second. But let me take a minute to talk about Mars and Cancer, because this is really big for the male collective, because it deals with contrast. Mars and Cancer, that's 2 different attitudes. If you think about it, Mars rules Aries. Mars is the planet of action. Mars is the planet of the male collective and the warrior planet and all of those type of things. And then you have Cancer. Cancer is the, you know, the sign of the moon. It's all about emotion. It's all about free flowing. And, you know, I feel like it's more of a feminine connected sign because of it being the sign of the moon. So you're dealing with some contrast here, especially in the male collectives. What's strong, what's considered strong versus what's considered weak in the male collective. What's considered courageous and what's considered being fearful. Some attacks can be triggered, like insecurities can be triggered, feeling helpless. A lot of highlight on the mother and son relationship during this time. secret talks about childhoods, things that come up. What parenting style is working for you? What parenting style were you raised by? You know what I'm saying? A lot of those type of conversations come up around this time, especially when you have Mars in Cancer and the focus being on the fourth house, the moon being in the fourth house. We start looking at not only our parent and child relationships with our parents, but our parent and child relationships with our children, or whether or not if you don't have children, this is a time where you start reflecting on whether or not I want children or not. So, do you think there is a parenting style that works better for the signs where there actually is? Like if you go to, your birth chart and just kind of take a look at your sign, when you look at look at the fourth house, I would say look at the fourth house, look at the seventh house, and maybe look at the 10th house as to what a good parenting style that would be for you. And then always take into consideration, I haven't done my children's birth charts because I feel like that's something that should be saved, but at least take the time to look at their sun and moon. Moon is very important when you're raising children, because that is the emotion, and that's where children really get damaged at the most. Think about it with your childhood trauma or things that you wanted. It was something that hurt you emotionally that shifted who you are as an adult. So, when you are raising children, especially when you're thinking, when you believe in metaphysics and spirituality and astrology, then take the time to really do the research. I wouldn't say you have to do a full natal chart on all your children, but I would at least take the time to find out what their sun is for their personality and what their moon is, so you know what type of emotions that you're dealing with. Okay? So right now, this Mars in Cancer is really affects the male collective, because it brings up questions like, who was the first woman who rejected you? What made you treat women the way that you treat women, whether you treat them good or whether you treat them bad? I'm not saying that this is like a bad thing or this is a trauma thing. It doesn't have to be like that, but the reflection is still there, because this is also a time where males start thinking about what they want to do with their relationships. Why do y'all think of so many weddings during the spring and during this time? It's not just because of the nice weather. It's because of the feelings that come up, especially during Taurus season, the feelings of love and, transformation and wanting to be stable. Taurus breathes in this attitude of, I'm ready to be stable. I'm ready to settle down. So, that's why a lot of relationships are formed during this time, and weddings and stuff happen during this time. You know what I'm saying? So, this is a time for the male collective to really dig in and deal with any trauma that they have surrounding women. And that's the energy that Mars and Cancer brings together. So now back to what I was saying about the signs that are going to be affected most by the full moon. I already said Scorpio, which full awareness shift, everything when you getting those chakras aligned from the top to the bottom, going through and doing an inventory and a self-check and seeing where it is that you need to make changes. Leo, releasing toxic family ties and putting everything just into frame and friends and your associates, and what are you going to do with your business career, and cutting just toxic ties and anything that's not beneficial to what it is your cause or what it is that you're trying to do or your growth, just letting those type of things go. Now Taurus, of course Taurus, because of the stellium and this full moon being in their sign. Relationship changes and also cutting ties. Now this is a little bit more different. Leo's focuses on family, okay, and friends. Taurus, yours is more focused on your romantic relationships and cutting ties and letting old exes go. So and just using the energy that's going on in your sign. So let's talk about the planets that's actually in Taurus, and that might help you understand what I mean by relationship change. Now, Taurus has the sun, of course, so the sun is highlighting all the groundedness, the stability, and the things that Taurus wants right now. Mercury, which is the planet of communication, is currently in Taurus. So might be a little bit slower to address confrontation right now. You know what I'm saying? We're taking it real easy. We're cutting down our friends list of who we talk to and who we associate. And Venus, your home planet, is also in Taurus, which is the planet of again, beauty, love, creativity, and art. You know what I'm saying? And then Uranus, which is the planet of unpredictability. right? So this was one of the reasons why the next sign I'm going to talk about is going to be affected. But right now, Taurus, Uranus is in your sign. And it's the planet of unpredictability. So it might have you feeling kind of uneasy because you are a grounded sign. You are a fixed sign. And this planet of unpredictability is like spinning in your sign. And it's causing changes that you may or may not have been ready for, because we know that you like to do things in order and you do things in your own time. And Uranus is just probably just coming and shaking all of that up. And we also, last but not least, have Black Moon Lilith, which I call the toxic bitch planet, bringing up things that in yourself that you might not have seen before, but also highlighting issues in other people that you might have overlooked. So, you know, Taurus got all this different type of energy. So it's going to be relationship changes and cutting ties, because you have all this energy supporting you, Uranus. And now it's not all about unpredictability with Uranus when it says like unexpected changes and things happening. It could be unexpected blow-ups. Maybe an argument has been simmering for a long time that you've been avoiding with another person that needs to happen in order for you to go ahead and cut ties with that person, because we know Tauruses, they don't like to let people go either. You know, that's a part of being a fixed sign, especially an earth sign. Once they get a hold of you, you know, and they feel like they love you, or you a part of their life, or you a part of who they are, sometimes it's hard for Tauruses to let that go. So this is the energy is supporting Taurus to make whatever changes that you need to make in your life right now. And the last sign that's going to be most affected is going to be Aquariuses. You are looking at a long-term and career shift. You're rethinking things. Now look, Aquariuses are ruled by the planet Uranus, right? And, you know, it's an unpredictable sign. I'm an Aquarius, and, you know, we're constantly shifting between ideas and plans and strategies and things that we like to do. We got all these different things that we can do, but we really just don't pursue a whole lot of them. I, myself, as an adult, now listen. And I'm just going to throw this in there real quick. Anytime you look at your birth chart, if you haven't looked at your birth chart yet, when you look at your birth chart, try to read your birth chart from like your 21-year-old self, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? If you are 45 and you just now reached your birth chart, you know, try to read it from your 21-year-old self. Because this is supposed to, your birth chart is supposed to guide you when you're first emerging into the reality that is adulthood and life, to try to give you some insight of what might help you grow as you get older. But, you know, so much information is out there, and we look at so many things, so many different ways. It's so many avenues and so many different things that you can do to better yourself, to get on track with your spirituality, to try to get aligned with the universe and all of that stuff. But some of us just get to the table late in life. So I'm just saying, when you're looking at your full birth chart, try to read it from your 21-year-old self. So anyway, back to Aquarius and these long-term career shifts. Aquarius, you're finally ready to get settled and figured out what it is that you're going to do to pursue your passion and make money at the same time. And we know it might be 3 or 4 things because you are an Aquarius, but you know, this moon is really going to highlight what you want to pick up. I know you probably got 20 different things that you know how to do, 20 different ways you feel like you can make money, but this moon is going to highlight and narrow that lane down for you, Aquarius. So we talked about the supermoon. We talked a little bit about this Taurus stellium. And I talked to you about Mars and Cancer. So here are some tips for the super full moon. Make sure that you drink a lot of water. Stay hydrated so you can stay in the energy, you can stay in the flow. Moon controls water. So imagine what can happen. Imagine how powerful you could be if during this moon time your body is full of water while you're doing your rituals and your spells and you're harvesting all your things and you're honoring your ancestors and you're feasting with your family or you're feasting with your circle or whatever it is that you're doing during this time to really celebrate the full moon. Imagine what you do. Imagine how it works for you when you are fully hydrated and, you know, ready to go and thinking with a clear head. Because when you don't have water in your body or you don't drink water, you are not thinking with a clear head because you're not moving with a clear body. You're making your body work harder than it really needs to. And that's not what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to work smarter, not harder. So make sure that you're staying hydrated under this full moon. And like I said, this is a good time for water magic, you know, just transferring wealth through water magic and that type of thing. Protection spells, because the full moon is highlighted. Everybody's exposed. Everybody is illuminated. Intentions and all those type of things. So it's a good time for reversing as well. So that concludes this video. So I hope it has some insightful information for you. I hope you enjoy as we get ready to emerge into spring and into Taurus season full head on, and, you know, just get ready to manifest all the things that we want to do. So I will see you guys on the new moon in 2 weeks. And make sure that you're cleaning your altars and you're tapping into your creativity. And stay spiritual. All right. All right.